evening, and here we find ourselves at the end of another week. So we are now entering the next 3 weeks of lockdown, and while we see some countries starting to lift their lockdown and potentially let out certain parts of their communities, the government were very clear here last night on those 5 things that they would need to see to even consider doing that here in the UK. We've been doing our videos now for a few weeks, getting some good feedback on those, so I hope you're continuing to find those useful. And actually one of the ones that we got the most positive feedback on was the one around furloughing. We know that is a very difficult issue. Travel industry is not the same as other industries, and there is still a lot of work out there. And we're getting a lot of questions around not only the scheme, but also what are people allowed to do and not to do while furloughed. So for that reason, and because there have been some changes to that furlough policy, tonight we are inviting back Martin from Mayo Wynne Baxter Solicitors, who will provide a further update on what's happening with the scheme and some of those new announcements that have been made over the last few days. So over to you, Martin.
Hello, I'm Martin Williams. I'm partner and head of employment at Mayo Wynne Baxter, and I'm here to talk to you about the government's coronavirus job retention scheme, which has this afternoon, at the time of me recording this message, just been extended so that it can go through to the end of June. On Monday, the 20th of April, is the first date on which claims can be made. And so the first thing for you to bear in mind is what details you will need in order to make the claim under the scheme. You will need to have ready your bank account details so that you can receive the payments under the scheme. You'll need to have the contact details for the person who is going to be handling the payments, etc., ready as well. And you'll also need your company registration number and your company unique tax reference number. In order to claim for those individual employees, you're going to have their names, their payroll number or employee number, and their national insurance numbers at the ready as well. And you'll quite obviously need to know how much you are going to claim for and the period over which you are claiming. So get all those details as ready as soon as possible. Best of luck in getting into that portal. I'm sure you'll be one of many if you're trying on Monday, and if you're waiting for the system to crash, and hopefully it won't, then you may try on Tuesday, see how it goes. Payments hopefully will be turned around by the end of the month. That is the hope. And whether it is met by expectations, I don't know, but there we go. We will see what happens. There have been, since I last did a video posting for you, new versions of the guidance that relate to the scheme. I'm not going to go into the details of all that guidance, partly because when the latest version of the guidance was published on the 15th of April, we also got a Treasury direction, which is the nearest thing that we get to the sort of legislation that one would normally expect with such an idea. Unfortunately, that Treasury direction has some wording in it which slightly contradicts the guidance, and so lawyers like myself are working through that and trying to work out the anomalies. And so I'm not going to go into those sorts of details now on video. It's not something that's really viable. But the key thing to remember, as well as that extension that has just been announced, is that the employees, if you're going to make a claim for them, rather than being on the payroll as at the 28th of February, they have to be on the payroll as at the 19th of March. So there's been a bit of movement there, and hopefully that will mean some more employees will be able to be captured under this scheme. Best of luck in making those claims. If you've got any specific inquiries that you'd like to make about the way that the guidance is worded, the Treasury direction is worded, or just the whole specifics of how it's all put together, then obviously you can come back to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin, and I hope that everybody found that useful. So today we also launched our brand new campaign, Bucket List Reboot, which David announced on last night's video. And if you haven't seen that yet, I do encourage you to take the time to listen to David announce what that campaign is and all of the different components of it that will be heading your way shortly. But today we are also launching the consumer poll. This is a really important thing for us, and we really need to start to gauge what that consumer sentiment is in order to allow us to help to plan and to help you to plan for the next few weeks. So please have a look at that. It's attached in this email and also will be on the hub, and please get involved in the campaign. So all that's left for me to say this evening is I hope you have a lovely weekend, and we will be sending out our latest video next Monday. Thanks and good night.